Welcome to Opus TV. Today I'm in San Francisco together with Curtis Clovier. He's the CEO and chairman of PENSCO Trust Company. PENSCO has an interesting solution that allows individual savers and wealth advisors to invest in real assets and alternative assets in their individual retirement account. But before we talk about that, maybe more about the history of PENSCO. Tell us more about this company.
PENSCO Trust Company was founded back in 1989, so we've been around almost 3 decades, founded in San Francisco. We were acquired by Opus Bank, a publicly traded California headquartered bank, in 2016, and we have been one of the pioneers in the self-directed IRA investment space. So what exactly does PENSCO do? Well, we effectively enable individuals to use their individual retirement accounts, or IRAs, to invest in what I call non-plain vanilla assets, alternative investments, things like real estate, private equity funds, venture capital funds, individual private companies, a whole host of things. We effectively act as a self-directed IRA custodian, self-directed in that many of our clients have determined an investment that they want to make. They want to put it into their retirement account, and then since it's going to be in a retirement account, they need a specialized custodian to actually hold that asset within the IRA. So we at PENSCO are that specialized custodian. I mean, I should point out that we do not recommend investments. The clients either come with their own investment, or perhaps their financial advisor or their wealth manager has recommended an alternative investment. And so the client has the investment in mind, but then they want to use their IRA to actually make the investment, which can obviously have tax advantages. So what do? We basically help up front analyze whether this investment will be IRS compliant. The IRS does have certain rules about what can be used within an IRA. They're actually fairly broad options that you can use, and so there really aren't a lot of restrictions. But nevertheless, we do look at what the type of investment is and what the form of the transaction is to help determine whether this will pass muster with the IRS. After that, we basically perform the administrative function for the IRA account. So we're providing quarterly valuations in case they're annual. We update valuations for people when we get the valuations from either the investor or the underlying fund manager that they're invested in. We help with other record-keeping matters. We provide some reporting and help facilitate that for the IRS, and effectively, once again, allow investors to really take control of their destiny and invest in what they want to invest in, not just some proscribed, plain vanilla stock or bond mutual fund, but instead a whole host of alternative investments within a tax-advantaged retirement account. One question I'm often asked is, who is the typical PENSCO client? How many do we have? Well, we have approximately 50,000 clients in the United States. These clients come from all over the country. We obviously have concentrations in the big urban centers, such as New York, San Francisco, where we're headquartered, Chicago, LA, etc. But we do have people literally from all over the country. And while most of our investors are high net worth because they are using alternative investments within their IRA, there's a wide range of high net worth, from ultra high net worth to somewhat modest. And so our services can work for a variety of people. And again, it's people who either are self-directed, they have an idea, they have an investment, they want to make that investment, but they want to do it in a smart tax advantage way using the IRA, and they can't find the big mainstream custodians to handle that. So instead they need a specialized firm like PENSCO, which has been around for decades. We talk about democratizing alternative investments, and in that sense what I mean is we want individuals to have access to alternative investments, not just big institutions, which for years have had access to big private equity funds or venture capital or real estate, but individuals can have that too, and that's who we serve. And we get the individuals a variety of ways. They might come in just by themselves, or they may come in through an RIA firm, so through their advisor, or they might come in through one of the big broker-dealer firms that we have done account transfer agreements with, where we have taken over their IRA accounts that are invested in alternative investments, and we now custody those. So we have a number of clients, literally thousands, that have come over from the big broker-dealers such as Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, and UBS, among others.
So Curtis, what do you see actually your clients doing? What are your clients interested in right now?
That's a very interesting question, and it actually ties into some of the trends we're seeing in the overall marketplace, and also how our clients have emerged and kind of diversified over the years. So we see an increasing emphasis on alternative investments. We see clients not only looking for perhaps extra return on their investments, but increasingly these days we also see clients looking for diversification and perhaps some downside protection as they see the stock market very highly valued and as they see interest rates very low, and hence that makes normal bond investing somewhat challenging. So we see increased emphasis on alternatives, and as part of that, one of our I'll call it our client segment is the actual private equity, venture capital, real estate credit funds themselves. We do have some of these fund managers who realize that a potentially interesting source of capital for them is high net worth individuals who want to use their IRAs to invest. And when you think about an IRA, it's long-term money, usually has multi-year horizon, and that fits well with private equity funds, venture funds, real estate funds. So there's a nice benefit there that we're seeing. And across the board, people are interested in either things that they know. So you might have a real estate professional who's involved in the real estate industry in some way, shape, or form, and he or she has a building in mind or a vacation rental property. They want to own it, and they want to do it through an IRA account. And so we can help facilitate that for them. Or we may have an advisor who has a number of clients, and that advisor is thinking of maybe some diversification potential and recommends a variety of different alternatives. So we have a very wide range. And we're seeing increased emphasis and interest in private equity, real estate, some venture and credit funds, both through fund investments as well as direct investments. We have clients who directly invest in companies, and that's another interesting avenue for people, and an interesting one to put in an IRA account and then continue to roll over those investments and make additional investments in the next company that comes to mind, and kind of roll that gain over tax deferred and keep it going.
Curtis, you certainly have a very interesting perspective, or PENSCO Trust Company having done this for 30 years. Do you think alternatives are becoming more mainstream now?
We definitely see alternative investments becoming more mainstream. You know, over the course of the last 3 decades, alternatives have moved from being largely an institutional product to being one that's institutional and ultra high net worth, to being one that's now gone to the high net worth market as well. So really opened up to a wide variety of different people. That trend is going to continue. You know, McKinsey did a study back in the mid-2000s, and in fact, they made that claim that alternative investments would become mainstream. And alternative investments have actually grown at a mid-teens rate over the last several years. McKinsey had done their study 10 plus years ago, and you were even seeing those sorts of growth rates then. And I think that's going to continue as, once again, people find some more interesting places to invest their retirement capital.
So this is probably an opportunity for financial advisors to get more engaged with their clients about alternative investments, right?
Absolutely. We have a number of individual wealth management, independent RIA firms, as well as financial advisors at the major companies who are interested in finding solutions for their clients. And one of those solutions is being able to house alternative investments within one's IRA. We have several customers who come to us through large broker-dealers as well as mid-size and small RIA firms. It's an excellent avenue for both us and those firms to basically help service the client. If you think about it, an independent wealth manager, he thinks, well, if I can do a service to my client's going to appreciate that. So if I can recommend to them, here's this firm, PENSCO, that will enable you to make a real estate or a private equity investment or a venture investment or a note investment in an IRA, that client's going to appreciate me. They'll know that I am sophisticated, I know what's out there in the marketplace. And so that's a service that advisor can bring to his or her client. And so that's a very valuable tool. It's another thing in their toolkit, so to speak. And again, we facilitate that. So we do have relationships with quite a few RIAs out there and financial advisors who, again, are looking for solutions for the client. They're managing their wealth. Wealth includes both non-retirement and retirement assets, and wealth includes both regular stock, bond, index fund, etc. investments, as well as alternative investments. So with PENSCO, the financial advisor or the independent wealth advisor can really serve the full range of investment solutions for their clients.
So tell me more about the retirement market. That's the market you're in, basically. How large is the retirement market, and what trends do you see there?
The retirement market is huge, $28 trillion, of which IRAs account for $9.2 trillion. So IRAs are a huge component of the overall retirement market. And within that sector of IRA retirement dollars, self-directed IRAs account for an estimated 3 to 5%. So we're talking somewhere in the 250 to 450 billion or so range. So a big number, and yet when you think about the percentage, it's really only 3 to 5%. One of the challenges, I think, we have as an industry, and frankly the investing community has, is just getting the word out that in fact you can use your IRA account to invest in alternative investments. You can have a self-directed IRA where you control what's put in it. I think that's a very powerful idea. It's part of the democratization of alternative investment, and using your IRA as either you want to do it through an investment area that you know and you have a passion about. This is something that more people need to know about. Again, we already have hundreds of billions invested in this, so it's not small, but when you think about that in the context of 9.2 trillion of IRA dollars, or certainly the 28 trillion of retirement assets, there's a long way to go. And the space is growing. As I said, more and more people interested in alternative investments. People are figuring out that, hey, there's a great tax advantage way to get into alternatives using the IRA. I think capital raisers, i.e. fund managers, private equity fund managers, hedge fund managers, real estate fund managers, credit fund managers, have an interesting, relatively untapped market segment to go after in terms of raising dollars for their funds, and that is the IRA market. So the high net worth market using their IRAs. That's a great source for these funds, whether they're new funds or they're old funds or large funds, small funds. That's a market that they should tap into, and we at PENSCO Trust Company can help facilitate that.
How are you different from your competitors?
As regards our competitors, we distinguish ourselves in a number of ways. First of all, we're really one of the oldest players in the market. Been around again since 1989. We operate very above board. We're now owned by a publicly traded bank. We view ourselves as the gold standard in this industry. We provide good customer service. We try and solve administrative problems that our clients might have, and again, facilitate their retirement dreams and goals. We also have a marquee list of very major broker-dealer firms that have entrusted us with their clients' retirement assets. They have done so-called bulk transfers of thousands of accounts over to us. Firms such as Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, UBS. These are obviously very big names. They chose us because they thought we would handle the transfer of accounts the best, and we've proven our ability to do that. These transfer of accounts can be quite complex, so one of PENSCO's differentiators is, in addition to our great customer service, we can really handle complex, tricky situations, retitling assets, etc., and that's what you want in your IRA custodian. In addition to that, we make the process easier than some other folks do. We have something called our alt-nav technology, which really is a online platform that enables our clients to invest in the IRA, to transfer funds, to make distributions, to really do most of the things that they're going to want to do over the course of their multi-year investment in whatever asset they put in their IRA. So that is a more seamless customer experience than our competitors offer. Finally, I would say we are focused. We are 100% in the business of custodying alternative investments in IRA accounts. Some of our other big competitors actually have a variety of businesses. But we're focused, we know what we do well, we do it well, and we want our clients to sleep at night knowing that we are their custodian.
What is your long-term vision for PENSCO? We
We are continuing to look at our technology solutions. again, this can help facilitate the investment. It can help the ongoing administration of it. So we continue to invest in that. And as part of that, we continue to look at not only bringing in one by one, which we do every day, individual clients, but also working with investment platforms, online investment portals, for instance, and they can be online lenders or online real estate investment portals. It really doesn't matter as long as they're doing alternatives, and working with those entities to basically allow them to use IRAs for their clients to invest. And so that's another avenue for these investment portals to gain more investment dollars, and we think that's a very interesting way to grow. So that would be an adjunct to what we've done with our major broker-dealer partners like Morgan Stanley. These major online portals, investment platforms, really part of the newer digital economy and investment landscape, are a ripe area for us, using our AltNav technology and our internal APIs that we've developed to really interface seamlessly with those platforms. Finally, I would say that we're also looking at custodial areas such as fund custody. As I mentioned earlier, we interface quite a bit with individual investment funds who want to raise capital with IRA money. In other words, balance out the institutional limited partners with individual limited partners who want to use their IRA. And so that's just another avenue that we think is interesting, and we'll continue to look at that space as again, something that we can use to build on to our expertise in custodianship.